to another episode of the Achievers Pod. This is the show where we bring to you real stories, real tips, expert insight on building business, leadership development, finances, marketing, relationship, all encompassed to make you a better person. My name is Victoria Showunmi and I'm your host. And today I'm all by myself and I am continuing a series which we started a few weeks ago. We have been talking about money and finances. And today I am going to be sharing few tips on business, essentials of business, why you need to actually have a business. In the last episode, which you can, right over there, you can see that I share about three parts to becoming wealthy in this life. Three parts. Talking about, inheritance. We're talking about business and investment. So, but today I am really going to dive deeper into business. And I am so passionate about business because it's one of the things that you can do that actually there is no glass ceiling. If you work for any company, any organization, most of the time there is a limit, there is a salary range for every position. And when you get to the top of it, you are pretty much capped. You can't earn more than that. So you are stuck at that place. But if you are in business, there is no glass ceiling. You are the only ceiling that can stop your financial growth. I've been on a job, I was at a job for 10 years. 10 years in the corporate environment. And let me tell you, for that space span of 10 years, okay, at the end of 10 years, I think my salary grew up to like 35%. 10 years. When I started one of my businesses on the side, the first year, and the second year, I doubled the revenue that I generated the first year. I doubled that. The third year, I doubled what I made the second year. Can you see the trend? And then on the job, you are going up by 5% every year, 6%, depending on what you do, except if you have a chair is stuck in that organization that you are in. And also, let me remind you, I am in the United States. And since the beginning of the year, since the transition into the new administration, things have been changing. You don't even know what news you're going to hear again. You don't know the executive order that is going to go out again. I have had people who work for the federal government and now are out of job. And not only the federal now that is being affected, is trickling down to other organizations, especially organizations that, they are grants funded. And now, if all those grants are taken away, then how can they continue to do what they are doing? So, some jobs are not guaranteed. And even not for the economy, anything can happen. You may go in and they may let you go. Nothing is guaranteed. So, but when you start building something on the side, you may be saying, Victoria, I am not there yet. And that is totally okay. If you are not there, I understand. But I want you to just think at the back of your mind, what if something happened today? What if? What if? What if? What is going to be your next action plan? What is going to be the next game you're going to bring to the table? God forbid. No, nobody plan to be fired. But the reality is, it does happen. And actually, it has happened to me many moons ago, even as a registered nurse. I have been let go. But I was able to secure a job, few weeks after that. But some jobs you may not be able to secure. So that is why this is very important. So when it comes to business, number one is looking at what you are passionate about when it comes to business. And there are different ways that you can go into business, but look at what you're passionate about and look for what there is a need for. I know I mentioned passion, but let me tell you, if whatever you are doing is not bankable, meaning that people cannot pay for it, that even you yourself you cannot pay for it, then that may not be a viable business. Businesses must be able to meet a need. A business must be able to provide a solution. You are meeting a need, maybe it may need of convenience. People can be home and want things delivered to the house, right? Look at Amazon. You can be home and shop for everything you want. That is a need. You don't need to go out at a push of a button. Maybe sometimes it's not financially wise, but they are meeting a need, making it easy, convenient, comfortable for people to do. Or you are providing solution. So many, look at the challenges you've gone through, look at the people who have done things for you, or even survey people around you and look at what they are complaining the most about. Do you have a solution for that need? And if you do have a solution, is it a solution that people, we swipe their card for you, we give you their money for? There are some solutions that, what, that's okay. If I don't get it fixed, I'm okay. So you have to do an extensive research. And sometimes people try to cut corners or try to not do their due diligence. Let me tell you, friends or families, we are here to cheer you on, right? And sometimes people may not want to hurt your feelings and they may not tell you what you need to hear because they already know what you want to hear. You want to hear that you have a very good business idea. I understand. But then you need to be able to try these business ideas to see if it's something that is viable, or else you are just putting resources, money, time, and everything into something that will not be profitable. So, are you providing a need? Are you meeting a need? Are you providing a solution? And are these things that people will pay for? Or are there businesses like that around? All right, another thing is you can look at an existing business and then see what you can do that that business is not doing. If you look at all these major uh, retailers, in the time past, most of them are not doing delivery, especially like the grocery stores. And then big company Instacart, all this thing came up so they can be able to provide services that these other big companies are not providing. And I mean, probably today, most of these retailers now have their own delivery, but not all of them. So somebody see there is an existing business, but then there is something missing, and you can fill in that gap. Or there's an existing business that is providing this amount, whereas there is more that can be provided. So you can provide a services to complement other business. You just have to do your research. So those are just some ideas. And other thing is you can buy an existing business. I know sometimes people shy away from that, but that may be another good, best option if you have the capital. And also with that, when you buy an existing business, a business that has been operating for quite some time and their cash flow is booming, is attractive, it's going to be easy for you to get funding for that business because there is a track record for that business being that is generating revenue. So you can start from scratch, do your due diligence, provide a solution, meet a need, And also you can do something that complement other businesses and add on to other businesses. For example, like a phone, this iPhone, there are other accessories that go with the phone. You know, iPhone may not provide everything, or sometimes I may not want to buy iPhone, maybe accessories, maybe because they are expensive or whatever. But people come up with chargers, a earpod, earpiece, Bluetooth, different accessories like the cover of this, something fancy. They are not the one that produce the phone itself, but they provide all the accessories that complement, that make me enjoy, I'll make you enjoy your phone. And also, I talk about you can buy an existing business. When you are buying an existing business, you need to make sure you work with professionals, work with a lawyer, work with an accountant, and also you may want to work with a broker too, because there are certain things that you may not know from the onset. Before you sign any dotted line, you want to make sure that the business is in good standing with the government. There is nothing shady about them. A while back, I did a business with an hospice company, and the hospice company, their business practice was horrible. It was horrible, even to the fact that they were owning my company. And I was sharing with somebody. Meanwhile, the person I was sharing to initially he didn't want to take me serious, not knowing that he was actually buying the business. But assuming he has paid attention to me and I didn't know who he worked for, who helped him to purchase the business, he will have gotten some information. Now we're just kind of like sharing some things, and he was trying to shut me down. Me, I didn't know he was buying the business. It was after the fact that I got to know. Actually, he came back to me and was like, I'm very sorry, I bought the company. I'm like, there are so many lawsuits against that company. And that business, according to him, he spent about $200,000. When he spoke with me on the phone, I don't even know what to say. I said, if you have do your due diligence, $200,000. He was like, no, my family and this, I cannot help. This company is still owing me. So, but if you are buying an existing company, you want to do your due diligence, seek professional guidance so that they can do an extensive research on that, organize that company to make sure what you are buying is legit and you are not buying a problem. Another type of business you can go into is franchise. They have their pros, they have their cons. And one thing with franchise that I want to throw out there is most of the time, they let you have access to other franchisees, so you are able to ask questions from all the people who are in that line of business, which is way better. Let's say, for example, you are going into Smoothie King. You want to buy that franchise on that company. You after I mean their process is different, but once you go through certain things, you we have access to pretty much every franchise, every franchisee with that company. And you can solicit, you can reach out to the owner. I mean, it's at their own discretion to share things with you, but from my experience and from the stories I have had, most of them are hoping to share with you what is going on behind closed door. Most of them, and not all of them, people, these are their finances, right? Some we actually, I have a friend who was into a company, and he reached out to the other franchisees, and let me tell you, they should actually show him their book to be able to see, and from there was able to decide what he wants to do. So a franchise can be another way of starting your business, because number one, the franchisor, they already have a track record, they already have a system of doing things. Most of the time they are doing national campaigning, marketing, but at the same time still do your due diligence. And everything comes down to having resources for that business. So if you are working for someone, this may be a time, we've talked about savings, putting money in high yield savings account, putting money in investment. Those money are there that you can use to fund your dream. when you are starting out as a brand new business, you know, the liability is high, and sometimes people bank may not want to give you loans, and it depends on the business structure, which probably we'll talk about the next time. But you want, when you have some money on the side, if you are working for somebody, when you have money on the side, you can use that money to start to fund your dream, to fund your business. And one good thing with a business is the flexibility is there. But let me tell you, before you get to the point of the flexibility, there are times that you are working 60 hours, 80 hours a week. Ask most successful business owners, they will tell you there are times that one person is wearing multiple hats, but with persistence, with consistency, now they can sit back and see others do and run businesses. So think about that. If you are considering a business, let us talk. In the description, I put my calendar there just for 15 minutes, just to kind of see what you have, the ideas in your mind, if that is a viable, if that is a bankable idea for a business. So let us talk. And also at this point, I will like to invite you to my community, Victoria Achievers Club. This is a community for professional women, career women, business ladies. We come together to connect with one another, to collaborate, and to celebrate each other's successes. This is a place where you can be yourself, where you can learn from other people, where you can grow, where you can collaborate. The opportunities are endless. So if you would like to join, the link is in the description as well. So next week we are going to take it further, breaking it down to business structure, the other things that you need to put in place, talking about sole proprietorship, LLC, cooperation, a few things, 6 steps that you need to have in place, banking, and all of those. So that is going to be in the next episode. If you have any other question, put that in the chat, in the comment section below. And if this has added value to you, you are liking this, please help us to share this, help us to spread it. This is on Apple Podcast, we're on Spotify, we're on iHeartRadio, and on YouTube as well. Please share, comment, subscribe, so that when we are here, you can get the new update. So till I see you again, my name is Victoria Showunmi, aka First Lady V. Continue to achieve success. God bless you, and happy new month.